4 hours to sleep a little bit. But that's literally what they've been doing for the last number of weeks, as we have processed the over 300,000 ballots that were cast and returned properly. And then they also had to look at the ones that had other issues that may not ever be counted. As of today, as of last night actually, in Allegheny County, 675,928 votes had been recorded and put on the state website. In the mail processing of that were 313,072 that were done as of last night. At this point, there are approximately 35,000 mail ballots that are to be looked at. In that 35,000 ballots to be looked at, 29,000 ballots have been ordered by federal court to not be handled or processed until 5 o'clock on Friday. So at 5 o'clock tomorrow, they will begin going through that process. We also have another 6,800 ballots that have, I'll call them other issues. They got damaged in the mail, they got damaged or cut during the cutting of the machine process, maybe there wasn't a secrecy envelope, dated issues, etc., etc. Those are going to be looked at starting tomorrow at 9 o'clock, again, by state order. We have to swear in a return board tomorrow morning. Those individuals will be sworn in by the Board of Elections, of which I am the chair, along with Councilman DeMarco and Councilwoman Hallam. We will be swearing in the workers, of which there are dozens. I can't give you an exact number, but it's dozens and dozens of our election workers that will be sworn in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And again, that is by state law. All 67 counties are not permitted to swear in their election board members until 3 days after the election. So first thing tomorrow morning, the election board will be sworn in to look at those 6,800 ballots. They will be viewed by the public, by the poll watchers, by all parties who will be there to look at those ballots as the return board begins to process those ballots. So that is where we are right now. We want to make sure that every vote is counted. Oh, let me give you one other group of votes, two other groups of votes. They have not begun to organize the postmarked before Election Day ballots. I think yesterday there were maybe 500 or so that came in the mail. I don't know that they've looked at the mail today to see how many have come in today. There are also provisional ballots that people were casting at the 1,323 polling places as they voted on Election Day. These would have been ballots that would be somebody who applied in the mail and maybe didn't get their mail ballot, or for whatever reason showed up and voted provisional. In the spring primary, we had about 5,000 provisional ballots that were cast. I estimate there could easily be double that or more, so you could have between 10 and 15,000, but we just don't know. They'll start opening those boxes, the 1,323 boxes that the judges of elections brought back to the warehouse. Today, what our workers are doing is they're preparing for tomorrow, organizing the tables, moving things around, bringing things from the warehouse over to the county office building where this process will begin to take place. So they're organizing, they're working. There's no day off for the workers in the election board. In fact, Dave Voy, the director, I actually dragged him over here today. He's probably got to get back over there and get back to work. Dave has done a great job. But also our county solicitor, who you've probably been dealing with as well, was over at the warehouse. Amy Downs, our communication director, and all members of the county election department and staff have been working on this and will continue to work on it. With that, let me open it up to any questions you might have.
Sorry, can you just clarify? You said at least 500 mail-in ballots that were received after 8 p.m. on Tuesday?
That's what they opened up in the mail yesterday, yes.
Okay, and those will be counted, recorded, and published when?
They will probably be set aside, and then they'll start to open those up and process those. I don't have an answer for you on that.
That would be tomorrow, today?
No, they're going to, all 3 days that they're allowed to keep those, there will be ballots that come in today, and then ballots that come in tomorrow. They'll take, and Friday, they'll take that grouping and set those aside. I can't answer when they'll be processed.
None of the late arrival ballots will be counted until all of that
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And also clarification on the $29,000 that have been segregated and comes until 5 p.m. on Friday.
Correct.
How many of those would potentially be the original incorrect ballot that was mistakenly returned, or do you know that those are all replacements of those incorrect ballots?
There's no way of knowing that. My guess is it's not a very high percentage. I'm guessing most of those would be counted, but I can't say that until the return board starts to go through them ballot by ballot.
I'd like to confirm, I know that there were about 29,000 that has to be reissued, but that's assuming that 29,000 numbers assuming that all of those voters actually returned their ballots. So the total number could be lower than that, correct?
I assume that would be correct, yes.
And also the return board process, you mentioned that that's organized by state election code.
The state law requires that 3 days after the election, not beforehand, that the boards of elections in all 67 counties have a 3-member board of elections. They will all be swearing in their return boards tomorrow at some point. We're doing it at 9 o'clock, and then they'll begin that process. That's a very public process in which the poll workers from all parties can view how the ballots are open, how the ballots are viewed, et cetera, et cetera. Yes.
Is that happening at the county building or at the warehouse?
That will be happening over at the county office building.
Okay, Amy said yesterday it was going to be at the warehouse.
Oh, it is the warehouse. I'm sorry, am I correct? The warehouse. I guess it's too big. We normally do it there, but maybe because of the volume, we're doing it at the warehouse.
Thank
Does
you.
the individual board member that's been sworn in, did they make that decision whether it's valid or not? Does it go? Is there a dispute? Is there some sort of...
Let me ask the solicitor to answer that question.
Yeah, my name is Andy Zeffi, County Solicitor. Mr. Sheehan, you're talking about within the 29,000 category?
Any category.
Any category? So they go through the review process under Act 77, the mail-in. Those are done. Ultimately, we've had the manager of elections look at every one of them. We probably will elevate them to the actual, in the election board process, but it's still, Dave's final call in terms of what the sufficiency of the envelope is. Was it naked? Was it not signed? The categories that might disqualify a ballot.
Can you provide any estimated timeline as to how long this process will take?
No, it's because there may be disputes, there may be time that goes through it, and they'll do it as expeditiously as they can. What I will say is Allegheny County probably processed them faster than just about anybody. I'm proud of the fact that they did. Certainly in the spring we did, and even during the other night doing the 300,000 that got finished last night. They'll work as fast as they can and as accurately as they can. We want to make sure it's an accurate count.
Which Commonwealth Court just issued an order today, one of the Trump lawsuits, basically saying that there had to be a 6-foot, the poll office would get within 6 feet of election people do the count. Is that going, how are you going to apply that?
We actually haven't had a dispute here. It hasn't been, they've been viewing the process, and they've been it's gone very collaboratively. I think you could ask all parties that they've viewed this whole process from the very beginning, and we haven't had really many issues with that.
Can you speak to more generally some of the other lawsuits that filed out of Trump campaign in this way?
Well, I think at this point they're probably going to throw a lot of things at the states that are remaining, and I'll let the courts fight that out. And our goal is to make sure that every single vote is counted, every single vote that somebody has cast, and they're a registered voter, and the vote was done right, that we're going to process it. And that's what Dave and the department continue to do.
So every one of those 29,000 is being reviewed, even if whether they send it correctly or incorrectly. They've been segregated and are being reviewed. Is that right?
Yes.
Which is reviewed?
And that's by federal court order? Was that
Federal court order said we could not begin processing those ballots until
specifically on those 29,000?
the 29,000. That's correct.
Who made that order?
I don't know which judge issued that order. Do you know the judge?
Judge Ron John, federal court.
Which is going to be reviewed first by the return board? The provisional ballots or the mail-in ballots that need to be examined for...
The mail-in ballots will be reviewed first.
Okay.
And you say David Wood is already looking at these naked ballots and all this kind of thing? He's already reviewed them?
Dave, what have you? Tell them what you've already done on them as far as those 6,800 that are.
I'm David Voigt, Division Manager of County Elections. As part of our pre-canvass, when we extracted the secrecy envelopes from the declaration envelopes, if there was not a secrecy envelope, they were all held aside. And we visually looked at those yesterday.
And what about improperly marked declaration envelopes another irregularity?
They are all segregated and locked up at our warehouse.
Did you make a decision on those things?
We,
Whether they were valid or not?
we segregate them, but we will make our final decision during the return board.
And I'm not understanding the process. So you look at it and then it goes to the board? You make a determination and then it goes to the board?
Like I said, we segregated them during the canvass, and we will present those to the board, and we will make our final decisions after we're sworn in for the return board.
And the board has the final say.
Yes.
Yeah, and one thing I want to clarify, and we'll wrap it up, but no election is final until the boards of elections, all 67 in the state of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, sign the certification. It normally takes about 2 to 3 weeks after election day. That's the work that the election departments do. That's the work that the boards, return boards do, and they're continuing that process. This is a normal process that happens during every election, every year. So as we begin this process again, that's the things that they've done. That's what they'll continue to do, and we'll get you any answers as they go through this process.
Can you describe the members of the return board, please? And also, are there representatives from the GOP or Trump organization or the Biden organization?
On the boards?
Are they going to be present?
Yes. They're certainly, they're able to be present. It's a transparent process. I can't answer that. I don't know the answer to that.
Can you tell us who's on the return board?
They're our employees. There could be 40, 50, 80 of them that are over there doing that. They will be sworn in tomorrow, and they're the official return board.
But are there legal representatives in either campaign now at the warehouse like yesterday and you're interviewing them?
No.
We'll be happy to provide other information to you later. You sent me an email on that. I'll be happy to answer as well.
Could you answer this, but if you could answer it. So, Biden is pulling within 100,000 votes right now. People are saying, what's going on in Allegheny County? You got 35,000 votes. Could have an impact on this election. Why don't we know?
I can't answer that, Andy. They'll start counting at 5 o'clock tomorrow, those 29,000, and then at 9 o'clock tomorrow, they'll begin looking at those other 6,800, and then they'll process. And then next week, or maybe, I don't know when the provision will start to get looked at, either later tomorrow or early next week. So that'll be the process. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.